Hey everyone, this is Jeanette with Untamed and Unapologetic, and today I have a power couple with me, John and Annie Meng. I am so happy to have y'all on. Talk to me a little bit about y'all and how do y'all know me?
Well, how about we have Annie kick that off?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
thank you for having us on your show, Jeanette. I mean, I've always really looked up to you, Jeanette. I don't know if I've actually said that to you. You always stood out as a leader in this mastermind that we've been a part of. And something that I really appreciate is people cannot unsee you, like you're so vibrant and they can't miss you. And of course, that's something that I admire because, I'm part of what am I wouldn't say struggling with, but really stepping more into is how to really own myself and be seen in a room. And I think you've really mastered that, just like how you show up, your energy, how you dress, how you approach people. So I found that extremely attractive, and I'm really grateful you have the both of us on this call.
I love you, Annie. She's so wonderful.
Like, I'm gonna have you on more.
Well, I mean, it makes sense, the name of your show, right?
It is.
Unapologetically Tamed, really tapping into truly expressing who we really are. And I think you're a great example of that.
Well, thank you. That's one of those things, like, I wasn't born with it, right? I don't think any of us are. We kind of have to step into who we want to be. And we talk a lot about that, like, just on my show or like whenever I see you and becoming who we want to be. And I know for myself, I've had to step into many different roles in my life, right? And I'm sure both of y'all have too. You might have your own roles, and then when you got together you had to become somebody else or become that person you needed to make this relationship work. So tell me a little bit about a time in y'all's relationship where it was a struggle, where there was tension, where things didn't go right.
I appreciate the question. The lead up to that, talking about how we shift who we are in a relationship. That was actually something that I used to do, and this is something unique. When we came into our relationship, I remember some of our first conversations with Annie. I was saying, "Who are you really?"
I know because I was always shifting my identity to who he needed me to be.
Mm.
And that just seemed normal. Like, okay, well, you want me to wear this. This is how I make you happy. And he was really the first person that was very much pushing me to figure out who I am. I'm like, I don't know who I am. Trying to figure that out.
Yeah. It was like being authentic. And so I'd say that that was probably one of our first big lessons in our relationship. So I'd been married for 20 years prior to meeting Annie and went through a divorce. And throughout my whole life, up until about 40, I was always trying to be something else and somebody else to make other people happy. I was the pleaser. I was the nice guy. And it didn't work, right? I was feeling bad about myself. So you have that same pattern, right? A lot of people do. We think that that's how we get people to like us. The shift was that she saw me. She saw the authentic me and she was calling me forth to be me just as I was doing for her. And this is not something we're taught in society. So there was a lot of resistance early in our relationship. And I remember one of our first big breakdowns, since that's kind of what you asked about, is, first big conflict came up with, I think we were together for a few months. And she said something I didn't really like. You want me to share or no? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't even
That's
know what
fine.
you're going to say.
Yeah.
So, so I left my previous marriage because we didn't have passion. And so then I moved into this new relationship and she gave me feedback that you're the least passionate man I've ever been with. And I was like, stabbed through the heart. Right? What is this? And then
What does that mean?
Took a long time to get over.
it took
It
18
was not a
months.
wise.
Yeah, it ended in a bathtub, which I'll tell you about. So this is the bathtub fight. So we go through this relationship, and at the same time, this is what was interesting. I had a good friend of mine, Michael, also asked me, John, where's your passion? It was passion for business. I had my Tony Robbins coach, and we're big Tony Robbins people. We've been in his world, and we're so grateful to him. And here he is, live with passion. And I'm not being passionate. Like, what is this? But my Tony Robbins coach said, John, I've been talking to you now for years, since 2019. Where's your passion? But geez, is everyone going to beat the hell out of me? Right. And so here this woman was really serving me, but I didn't get it. So it took about 18 months and we got into this big fight. And it was the same fight where I'd been kind of stonewalling, I'd been shutting down. And I was really in the repression stage of the 4 Rs. So it was the worst stage. I just stopped sharing. And we're in the middle of a fight and just, it wasn't like yelling. It was just, we were just fighting, we're arguing. And I was holding her responsible for my feelings. And in the middle of it, I thought, you know what? Now is a great time to take a bath. So I went and I left the middle of this fight, went and hid in the bathtub, which is a terrible place to hide. You're kind of exposed. So I'm like laying there, right? And she walks to the door and she's got a little tear in her eye. And she looks at me and says, I don't know how to make you happy. I
Oh,
think we need to break up. And we were engaged at the time. And, we
how did
didn't break
that
up.
yeah, how did that sit with you in that moment?
Well, I didn't, we didn't break up, but I woke up. That was the
Yeah.
big thing. Like I saw her so different in that moment. I said, here's this woman who loves me so much that she's willing to break her own heart so that I have the chance of being happy. That's love. And from then she is love. Like it's not even that she was like pretending to be love. She wasn't trying to do love. She wasn't performing love. She is love. And so she stepped into that. I said, I got to figure this out because this isn't about her. It's actually
Yeah.
about me. I created the problem. So I'm going to give you, to answer your question, like the specifics, it's really three things. And the first one was to realize I created the problem. It wasn't her. It'd be fully responsible for what occurred. And then if I am the one that created the problem, that means only I can solve it. She
Mhm.
can't get me to change because it's my feelings. I'm responsible for my feelings, my thoughts. So I need to change those. And then that next step was really to be like her. It was to be love. And
Yeah.
so that's what, we've been on this journey now for a few years. And that's the reason our business, our little logo is a bee with a heart, is because
Mm,
it's be love. And it's changed our lives and so many other people.
yeah. Annie, talk to me a little bit about that because when you're on the other side, right, and you have this man who you are deeply in love with, you see him for who he is, but yet he's stonewalling you. He's shutting down. He's not being passionate. He's not giving you what you desired in this relationship. How did that feel for you?
I think I've had multiple experience of this, not just, obviously with John, but also with my parents as well.
Mhm.
And I think my response to it is more of taking responsibility. I'm not saying it's good or bad, right? It's more of just like that's just how I cope is that because my question in those moments is what did I do? Right? Sometimes it's helpful, sometimes it's not very helpful. And so for me, like the reason I asked him, or not that I asked him, but I said to him that I really don't know what it is that could make you happy because these are just the facts. I can't change the facts, right? And so if this permanent thing is causing this distress, there's nothing that I can do about it. And I'd rather you go find someone else without these facts. There's like really nothing I can do. So I think that's a really good question 'cause I've never I mean, obviously it feels terrible, right? Like this problem is permanent, it's pervasive, and it's personal. The thing that I think I've learned along the way is I used to really want to make other people happy.
Mhm.
And it would be if he's feeling sad or tired or sleepy or like frustrated with his whatever's going on in his life, I felt like, oh, like if this is I could do something to change his emotions. And then I would take it upon me. And of course, when he didn't change, I would be like kind of like frustrated, right? And I think the biggest lesson for me is just accepting that people sometimes want to feel whatever it is that they want to feel. And that if I want a sunshine and rainbow all the times, it's actually quite repressive for the
Mhm.
other person because then they feel like, well, then I can't share my sad feelings with her. I can't be down. And that's just not human, like that's not natural. So I think, yeah, it's just being able to sit with it and being okay that he's not feeling great.
Yeah. So in that moment though, like when you went to him, you were upset. You had already made a decision in your heart, right? Like I can't make you happy. Go off, find someone who can. I'll deal with that in my own heart in my own way. To that point, right? That got you there. Like what was going through your head? Like what brought you there to be like, okay, what's next? I can't do it.
A lot of faith. I mean, I
Mhm.
think it's been a lot of faith ever since we met because when I first met him, there's a age difference. We have age difference of 17 years. You know, he's divorced with kids, which is very normal. It's just not the blueprint that my parents had, right? So it was like there was a lot of rejection from the very beginning from my parents. So there's a lot of things that came up that did not go according to the fairy tale plan, right? And one of the first big decisions that I made was like, because I made a list of everything that I wanted in a man and who I need to be and did that whole exercise. He really did check off most of the things that were really important to me. So I had this feeling of like, wow, this could be the person. And I still wasn't willing to commit to it because there's so much uncertainty. He was still going through his divorce. You know, there's a lot of things that we weren't open with. Like we just weren't ready to tell the kids, for example, right? So there was a lot of uncertainty. And so early on, I really had to just commit and take that leap of faith and just
Yeah.
know that I am guided, that if it's meant to work out, it'll work out really great. If it's not meant to work out, I'll find out soon. And so
Mhm.
in that, the bathtub decision, it was really like, I think I've always felt like if this is meant to be, it's meant to be, you know? And if it's not meant to be, then this will never work out. So I think that that gave me a lot of certainty. I know that's been the motto for
Yeah.
you this year. That has given me a lot of certainty where there's really no reason why I should be certain in the moment.
Okay. I like.
Yeah, one of the things you mentioned in there, Babe, was about fairy tale. And it leapt out at me because when we think about fairy tales, say, the fairy tale relationship, we're only remembering that super happy ending, but we forget all the stuff that had to happen in order for them to get there. You think about Snow White, for example, right? She had to go against a
Should
witch. She
die
had to think
first.
about, yeah, all of the fairy tales had something that had big breakdowns, battles that
There
this
was a
couple
struggle.
went through to create the relationship. And one of the things that, certainly we went through, and I see a lot of couples go through, is we came up to this point of decision where it was
Mhm.
either go through the storm or jump off the ship. And all of our glory that we have today, the reason we've expedited our relationship into this great place we're in right now is because we said, screw it. This is a big storm. This is going to be fun. Let's go through this thing. We'll figure it out. The other side's going to be glorious because if we can get through this, we can do anything.
I don't think we would have the relationship we have now if without the obstacles. I mean, same in business, right? If it was easy,
Everyone would do
everyone
it.
would do it, you're right, and then there would be,
There's no
then I would
joy in
have
easy.
there would be no business because everyone's doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm a therapist, like in my daily profession, right? And I see a lot of couples and I see a lot of single women. A lot of the single women will come in with the fairy tale thinking, like, I want this and it's got to check these boxes. And they're just thinking, they're looking on one side, right? I always see that there's another side that's missing, right? And it's like, this is what I want. This is what I want from him. But I'm like, okay, but what are you going to do to ensure that you get all those qualities that you want from him?
It's a great question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Annie actually did this. She
Yeah,
has a
because
great exercise
I
for
just
this if we could
apply
share it. Yeah.
everything I learned in business to relationships is literally the same thing, right? So, like, you figure out what you want. It's kinda like you have the product and you have your ideal customers, right? Like, first thing you do is you test the product, and you go out there and you do market research and see what the market actually wants. Yeah, right, and so one of the things that I
What
can
well, actually, can I jump in real quickly?
yeah.
Maybe dating. Maybe it's before dating. So this is very, very interesting because it really plays into yeah, go find out. So go through our 4 steps. I think it's such a good
I don't remember the
process.
first steps, but basically, like,
Write down what you
write down what you, like, absolutely cannot tolerate, like, deal breakers. Like, for me, it was, like, can't smoke, can't drink, like, I can't, like, I just can't. Yeah, a whole bunch of other stuff too, right?
and then there's a key though. Can I jump in?
Yeah,
We'll do this together. So when we write down what we want, write an exhaustive list,
Mhm.
everything that
you
we
know?
want, and then prioritize it, and then only write down the top 5.
So top, like, 5.
That's it.
And the question is, like, if this person is really my dream person, is it okay if and then, right, is it okay if he's, like, 2 inches shorter than me? Like, oh, yeah, if this is really my person.
So when we do that, what's really nice, we prioritize the experience of life we wanna have. So if we're with and since you brought up height, I wouldn't have gone there, but you did. So I will now. But if we're looking for a guy who's 6 foot, right?
Mhm.
So that's a very small selection. But are we okay with a 6 foot tall alcoholic that's
Mm.
a jerk and mean all the time? So, right. So maybe what we're actually looking for is what are the values that this person actually lives to?
I like
There's
that.
a huge difference there. And so when Annie shared her list, it was predominantly values.
And it gets you to the core because, I like we have someone that we work one of our clients, and she was very specific on this person, and she's a very successful professional, so she wanted him to out earn her, and it was like a couple of thousand annual, right? But she had a very specific number. And but what she was and then you asked the question of like, well, what if he doesn't actually earn that much? What if he earned only like 100 to 200K a year, but he's like a Navy SEAL, really owns you, and he's masculine? Because that's what she was really getting at, is someone who was more grounded, more powerful than she is. But the measurement was the money, right? So when we really get clear on the list, we really get like clear on like what is it really that we're looking for? Is it the like someone with a trust fund, like an endowment fund? Like, what is it really,
Yes.
right?
No, it's so important because it was
Yep.
very clear what she was actually looking for. So we do this top five of what are we looking for? Then it's what are my definite no's? And then the same thing. It's isolated to the top five must nots. And these have to be absolute must nots.
Mhm.
And you boil that down. Then the next step.
So who do you need to be?
Yes.
No, then it's like a draft, right? Of who do I think I
Yeah.
need to be? Okay. But the one layer is a little bit more than just who do we need to be, is sometimes we have no clue who we need to be. Right. I thought that 'cause I wanted someone who was ambitious and had
Mhm.
big dreams, and I wanted to build something really significant with him. So I thought the equivalent of that is someone who's entrepreneurial, like the boss babe, like I gotta have my own mission and be very driven, which made sense to me.
Yeah. Then this market research, which
Yeah, and
is
then
this 4 steps. So this
market
is the big thing
research.
that we've added in, and no one else is really talking about this. We write down who we need to be. These are these first 3 the first 3 steps are phenomenal, by the
Very.
way.
Yeah.
But market research, before you even go on a date, go out and talk to men that you described that meet these musts and must nots, and just understand. And these can be friends, they can be brothers, they can be dad, they can be whatever, but do the research to figure out what do they want? What do they really want in a woman? Or if you're a man, what does a woman really want that meets your characteristics? And it's so powerful.
It's not like you're not changing you, because
No.
I am very true to what I want in someone. So I just need to know what parts of me that I need to bring out more. And if I'm not willing to do that, then I gotta change what I want.
Well,
Yeah.
totally true. And then there's this other part to it. So we don't subscribe to the idea of, be, like who this person wants you to be. I really encourage be authentic.
Yeah.
There is a different question though to ask along the way. Is am I being authentic to who I really am, or am I being authentic to who I was programmed to be by other people? For example, the pleaser in us is an example that we just talked about, right? I
Mhm.
was trained to be a pleaser, but that's not who I am.
Mm-mm. Yeah, and I think that's a big piece of where people struggle, right? Because we have all the internal downloads we were born with, the attachment styles that we were given, and a lot of those things can get in the way of healthy communication, of conflict resolution, like all of these things. There's with the stonewall, right? The avoidance steps in. I don't want to deal with that. Let me back up and let me just say, I can't help you. I don't know how to make you happy. Peace out, dude. See you later. So, like, there's a lot of stuff that gets in the way. And if you don't do your work, you don't even know who you are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You gotta get clear. What are my values?
Hmm.
What do I believe in? So when we went into the Tony Robbins world, so I'd been in it for about a year and I think you were in it for about 6 months, but we went through a program called Date with Destiny with Tony.
I want to go to
And
that so bad still. I haven't
it's
been.
so good. So I think we'll probably do virtual this year. So maybe
Cool.
you'll join us in Vegas. Yeah. Anyway, so in this program, you get absolute clarity about the values, your towards values and your away values that you're living right now. And so I had a really like I was so proud when I wrote down what I was living to the first time. I was like, all right, my first value is love. Like this is awesome. My second value is success. My third value is achievement. Like my third one is discipline. And somehow, by the way, success and achievement's different. Like I still don't know what I was thinking, but whatever, right? I had these certain values. The rules of the values and the order of the values is what was screwing me up. So here's my old rule for love. Somebody has to show me love the way I want them to show me love without me telling them how to show me love.
Yeah, that doesn't work, John.
And then success was I had to be further along than anyone else in my peer group, which was described based on age. So it included like Mark Zuckerberg, it included these billionaires. So I'm behind. I'm screwed. I can never succeed. And then somehow achievement on top of that, I had to be top in class within my industry as well. And
A
I said,
lot of
okay,
pressure you put on yourself.
yes, no, I just had to be first. That's not a big deal, right? And I'm not like I didn't make it a small enough market, so I reset that. And I still love was first, and then health and vitality. I changed them all around, and success and achievement disappeared. This is what was interesting. Okay. But love, my new rule for love was anytime that I show anybody any amount of affection or tell them I love them or do something nice for them or show any amount of physical affection at all. And so I made it super easy. And therefore I felt love all the time because now I am responsible for feeling love. It wasn't outsourced, it was insourced. And changing that then led to us meeting just a few months later in the Platinum Partners. And it was extraordinary. We met at our first event, and I had absolute clarity that she was the one that I was looking for. And one more quick little add on to that. So I remember so I asked her, what are you looking for, in this future man? And I wasn't looking at the time. I was like, this is an interesting person. But, and then she asked me, and I said, well, I'm looking for a woman that will challenge me.
Well,
Check. I didn't know the kind of challenge she would bring. So beware of what you ask for any gentlemen that are watching this. But it's also been such a joy because to me, challenge has really been the key to my own personal growth, especially in accepting the masculine nature in me. Is she pushes me, she brings the feminine nature, her feminine storm, and I get to stay grounded. I get to really be there, be the container to hold her safe in. What do you
yeah.
laugh?
I know.
I
'Cause Jeanette, like, I'm pregnant, so I'm, like, crying, like, randomly for no reason. And I'm like,
There's your storm.
Yeah, we went for a walk the other day, right? We walk out the door and she's like happy. We walked maybe 35 feet, right? We just barely made it down the driveway and she starts crying, I don't want to go for a walk, but I don't want to go home. I don't want to not walk. I said, well, let's just keep walking for a few minutes and tell me why you don't want to walk, right? We don't even meet out of the subdivision. She's like, I'm so happy. This is like such a good walk. I'm like,
Pregnancy hormones. Hello, how are you? Yeah.
yeah.
it's a whole new level.
Oh, well, that's a whole new challenge in a relationship, right? Bringing in a a baby. And I think so many couples, they don't I don't think they're prepared for that challenge a lot of times because they're not connected, they're not communicating. A lot of them are stuck in their wounds, right? The avoidance is there 100%. Nobody wants to have any conflict. That's like the couple that comes into my office, right? Like it happens all the time. And how are y'all using what you know now to make sure that this is a blessing, right? And that it continues to grow your relationship all through all well, there's more. How many kiddos do you have in the family?
3 with one on the way.
So a family of it'll be 4, 6 of y'all coming together, right? How do you continue to grow that?
Hmm. That's a really good question. We hadn't
Yeah,
really
because I
talked.
mean, life has challenges,
Yeah.
relationships have challenges, but y'all are doing a beautiful job of helping other people, which we'll get to in a minute too, and growing for each other. So,
I mean, I think it's just how we think about the things that come our way. And like, I'll give you an example, right? So there's so many people telling me, oh my gosh, you're gonna have back pain and you're gonna have this and all these things are gonna come up and you're gonna not be able to do this and that. And I think it's just the way we see it because I have never been more fit in my entire life, Jeanette. My my I've never had a sleep routine. Now I have a sleep routine. Okay.
Mhm.
And I've always been not very disciplined about cooking my own meals, but now I'm cooking like meals
Yeah.
every day. I'm more consistent in my workouts and my nutrition and everything than ever before. And I think it's just we have really good friends. We have really good peer group that will not put up with my BS. Like if there's like a belief that comes, right? And I get like Katie, right? You know Katie, right? So Katie, she's like, when I was pregnant, I was walking 6 miles a day. And that is just a different reality than what most people are used to. And so I think because we're around the right people, like for it just for this case of the pregnancy, right? This baby has really been a huge leverage in helping us build more wealth and more progress in our business and in my health and all these different things. So I think it's just how we think of the things that come our way.
Yeah, I think it is. What I would say is, we're talking about it in the context of challenge. And I guess the reason I'm hesitating is I don't see challenge. It just doesn't exist in my mindset. It's like, okay, well, this is just a fact of what's happening.
Mhm.
And I'm here. This is what occurred. I want to be there. So what do I need to do? I need to take another step. And so it really
Mhm.
comes down to consistent discipline, saying, all right, well, how are we going to move forward today? All right, well,
Yeah.
someone threw this barrier in the way. It's like, okay, so there's a new barrier that wasn't planned for. What's the next step? Right. And so I can go through it, I can go around it, I can go over, I can go under it. There's 100 different ways, but I'm going to get to my outcome. So let's just make that next move. It may not be on schedule. Okay. Or maybe I'm ahead of schedule. I don't know. But I take what is, we both do, and just say, this is a fact. And, one of the other things that I think we do really well is conflict resolution.
I was just gonna talk about
Is,
Mhm.
you know, it- we as humans waste so much time and so much energy in conflict and in fighting with each other. And really it's just like this disagreement about the stories we're telling ourselves about what happened. It's not even what
Yeah,
happened.
like internal a lot of times, but we never
Well,
state it, so it never gets solved.
so just the way the brain works, and so I'm going to go into the neuroscience, which I'm sure you know as a therapist as well, right? So like we sense something, we see it, we hear it, we feel it, we taste it, and then that goes up into our brains, and our brain has to interpret what's going on. So when it interprets it, it has an immediate reaction. That's our lizard brain is saying, is it safe? Is it dangerous? And so immediately, if it has any sense that it could possibly be dangerous, it starts pumping in adrenaline so you can get ready to fight, flee, or freeze, right? So these three things are coming up. And our prefrontal cortex hasn't even engaged yet. It's way behind, like, I don't know what happened. Now stories are being created, and then the story is submitted over to the prefrontal cortex. It says, hey, here's the story. What do we do? All right. So then our prefrontal cortex thinks it's a great idea to communicate the story as if it's true, as if this is an absolute fact. So we created through tens of thousands of reps at this point. Like we have all these different systems that we learn, like nonviolent communication, fierce conversations, crucial confrontation, like all these books and all these different systems, so method. And so, well, none of these really work for us. And so how do we come up with our own? And so we have this little 6-step thing, and I'm going to share it real quickly because I think it'll serve. And the first thing that we learned, and actually we didn't learn this first, this is the order that we put it in now,
Mhm.
was to pre-frame. So she
Mhm.
needs and I need to
create
feel safe.
create the safety, right?
Yeah,
Because like so when if you go up to someone like, "Oh yeah, we need to talk
we
about
need
so
to
like
talk.
immediately the walls come up. So it's really
Mhm.
to diffuse the bomb.
Yeah. So it sounds something like this for us is, hey baby, you might have noticed that my energy's off lately. And before you start guessing, I want to just share with you what's going on. It really doesn't have anything to do with you. I've got this story. I want to be able to share it with you. And I'm not even going to ask you to change or anything. Just I'd like to share it with you so you're not guessing. Would that be okay? So I'm getting permission right now. And now she's engaged and say, okay, yeah, yeah, of course. It's nothing to do with me. I'm good.
I know.
I'm safe. So I can listen. And then we just say the facts, right? So very, very simple. And there's an acronym we'll give you here in a minute 'cause I think it's hilarious. And so facts, it's FFSTR. So you can interpret for F. Say anyway. All right. So facts. And that just sounds like, hey, I called you the other day. I left a message. I didn't get a call back. Those are your facts. It's like indisputable. And then the feeling is the next thing. And so I was feeling frustrated. I was feeling mad. I was feeling a little bit sad, concerned, whatever that is. Very, very quickly go into, and the story I was making up is you didn't care about me. You didn't care enough to reach out to me. And then very, very quickly, as fast as possible, transition to the truth. And, I know that's not true because in stack, at least three ways you know that that story is not true.
Mhm.
Our own brain, as well as to get back into relationship with this other person. And now our brain, our prefrontal cortex is like, oh, wait, he's looking for something different. And so it goes back into our memory. We're like creating a new information superhighway in our brain. And we list the things. I know that's not true because you make me coffee every morning, put little hearts on the top. When you come out, you slide across the floor. Good morning. You've got such great energy and you cook for me constantly. Or, you just like to go with me. And I stack like hundreds or whatever. Right. And then the request. And, maybe if that situation comes up again, it'd mean a lot to me. Yeah. You could just text me like, "Hey, I can't answer right now. I'm good. I love you." Or if you can't do that, what other solutions do we have that can work for both of us?
Yeah.
In 3 minutes. Like these are fights that used to take weeks, days, weeks, months.
Mhm.
And after tens of thousands of reps, gone. 3 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah,
Anything
no,
to
I
add?
like that.
I would say it wasn't so easy when we first started.
Mm,
It takes practice. Like, you're so good at what you do because you keep on doing it every single day, right? And for us, it's like, okay, well, we started doing it more and then we started practicing it. And now I practice with the group and have other people do it. And we always say, don't waste a good conflict. Because,
Yeah.
you talk, how we started was like, okay, with this new baby, how do we really plan to grow the family? Well, we don't really have conflicts.
no.
I mean, I can't even remember the last time we fought. And like when we do, that's actually like it's so new now, right? It was not new before, but it's like, oh yeah, okay, so this is an opportunity where it is really a spotlight to say what are the parts that we are disconnected, and we can use that conflict to bring the relationship to a whole new level. Like without the conflict, you wouldn't even know where we can improve.
No, that is
Exactly.
true. And one other thing that we did that I'd encourage everyone to do is play fight. Make up ridiculous scenarios, like,
Mhm.
right, yeah, let's fight over, who burnt the popcorn, right, which is a terrible smell, so don't actually burn the popcorn, but
Yeah.
fight over that and resolve the conflict, resolve what's
Good
underneath it.
chance to practice.
It's the practice, right? We don't go to the World Series to learn how to hit a ball. You hit a
Yeah.
ball and practice off of a tee, then you have a pitcher, and then you go to batting cages, all of that to get to the World Series. But that's not what we do in our relationships. We're trying to, like, apply something we learned 6 months ago. That doesn't work. Practice it for 6 months so that it works when it matters.
Yeah, no, I think that's really, really beautiful that what you created there. And it brings me back to like the first thing that popped into my head when you first started talking was that you made a choice, right? You chose each other. And when we choose, then we are telling ourselves that I'm choosing this man, I'm choosing this woman. And because they are my choice, I'm going to do everything possible to make sure that I grow and he grows and she grows and we grow together, whatever that looks like. And that's a great tool to use whenever the couple makes the choice.
Yes, it's
Hmm.
beautiful. That's exactly right, is choose your partner every single day.
Hmm.
And the question isn't, like, what am I looking for from her? What does she need? And by the
Hmm.
way, when I say need, and this is I really want to speak to the gentleman on this, it's not what she says she wants. It's what she needs, right? And it's not the same thing.
Know it.
Yes. Our job is to know what's needed, to be able to see through the BS in front of us, right? And it's BS. A lot of it is. It's totally BS. You know it is.
It's just
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not hungry. I'm not hungry.
Yes,
That
you
food's
are.
so good. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, and that can be a whole other topic for a whole different show on how knowing what your partner needs, like paying attention and reading energy and paying attention to what they enjoy and what they like. And a lot of us, we don't pay attention to others. We just look into ourselves.
Yes. And it's natural too.
Mhm.
It is so natural to think of ourselves. The biggest problem we actually have, I would submit, is that we don't take care of ourselves. We think about ourselves, but we don't take care of ourselves as humans because we've become pleasers. We've been trained to always take care of everyone else. Then we come home to our relationship, and that's the one place we expect to get, not give. It doesn't work that way. That's the place to give even more. Fill up your partner because they'll fill you up as well. And don't do it because of that. It's just a result. It's give to give, period.
Yeah. No, I like that. So tell us a little bit about what you're actually doing because I know you have the Love Jam, you've got Be Love. Like, what is it that you're doing? What do you offer? How do you help people? How can they find you?
Yeah, for sure. So there's a lot of different things that we do. So, like we talked about, that we practice relationship breakdowns, right? We do it every single Friday. You can find us on Facebook. We go live every week and we practice this. And you can even join calls. So we'll give you some links so you can share it with your audience. And
Yeah.
that's a lot of fun, right? The funnest thing we have coming up is every quarter we do a live event. And what I love about the live event is that it expedites our growth. We have massive breakthroughs. Everybody that attends walks away and they're all something different. It's whatever they need, but they have such a clear vision of where they're heading. And they feel confident and certain that they can actually get there because they have a roadmap in front of them.
Hmm.
But they also learn really quickly is the understanding that all of their relationships were created by them, how they're showing up. So if they show up differently, they can create different results. Everybody on the planet is reacting to us. So yeah, it would be join us in Las Vegas. It's June 26th to 28th. It's events.lovejam, that's JAAM.com. And check out the website. I've got a little video on there, tell you a little bit more about it. It's such a powerful event, though. And we have amazing speakers. So this is our love and money coming up. So it's gonna be talking about both. Because what we found is that the barriers to money are the same barriers we have in a relationship. And the fastest path to money is relationships. And we
Hmm.
have experts, people that have, like we've got a hedge fund manager coming in. He's going to say the same thing, have great relationships. We have somebody that speaks across the globe. He's a diplomat, it's Dolph DeRuse. He's made tons of money in real estate. He's spoken on stage at Tony Robbins Wealth Mastery. He's going to say the key is relationships. All of it's relationships. And the most important one is our intimate relationship. Our intimate relationship is either the biggest drain or the biggest source of fuel in our lives. So it's our choice. And so that's what we really teach here in Las Vegas. And then we have opportunities to do other cool stuff with us. We've got a trip that we're planning with Dolph going to Lake Como, Italy in September. So all kinds of really cool stuff like that.
Yeah, that's really amazing. I would love to just sit in one of y'all's live calls or something because I haven't been part of any of y'all stuff. And I am looking for love and not in the wrong places anymore. So I've
Sure,
got
sure.
my
Yeah.
list and I've got all the things. I really like that choosing the top five because I've just got like my list and how I have to show up. And I like the top five. I'm going to tweak my list.
I think it's a great idea. So I was watching Steve Harvey just yesterday on this. He had a woman that came on and she had a list of 50 things. And what was
Really?
unreasonable when you heard the list, it was like he had to do this and the opposite. And I was like, "Oh my god." There was, like, all these conflicts on this list because there's so many different things. I remember this one particular person, and I don't wanna do this in public, but, she had these conflicts
Yeah,
within her
just make
list.
sure that your list is like it's clear, right? Like if you were to give it to your girlfriend and she was to scout out this person for you, is there absolute clarity? Like an example of that is like some people want a traditional man with the, like that will provide for me and like it's a very conservative profile, right? And then maybe like the next thing is what was it? Like something that's more like, okay, I want him to
I don't know where you're going.
no, but like the opposite of that,
Like,
like the opposite of traditional is like Yeah, like, I want someone who is open to me going wherever, like, something that's, like,
Yeah.
directly opposite of
Present
that, which
myself or something.
they
Yeah,
don't exist in the same person.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Look, when you're
that is a
looking for
great point.
somebody,
Mhm,
what I would encourage is don't look for the person that you want today.
mm,
Look for the person that you want 5 years from now, the person you're building a life with. What are
mhm.
their vision and values? Because we were talking to somebody and she's like, "Well, I want a man that's okay with me taking girl trips, but I want him to be very traditional." So, well, that's a huge conflict. That's
It's like a
not gonna
perk.
work, right? Well,
Mm,
he needs to be a masculine man. Great, he's gonna tell you no. Are you ready for him to tell you, like, which one do you really want? So she started looking through it. She says, "Well, I really want a masculine man." Okay. Are you ready to give up the girl trips? Because what you're saying is you want a family. You
yeah,
wanna have kids. So gotta look through the list.
and I think
Where do you want 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? Go.
kinda goes back to that question of who are you and what do you really want,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. But we gotta think further out. We
Mhm,
so I have this little exercise, and this might be worth you doing, Jeanette, if it's okay if I share with you, but it
mhm.
grab your journal, go out into nature, okay? No noise, like, don't bring headphones, no phone, nothing, and just sit there in nature for a little bit. And then after half an hour, write down, today is let's see, what is today? Today is June 4th, 2046, okay? Today is. My life is amazing. Here's what's happening in my life today. Write down that 20-year vision as if it's today.
Yeah.
Then write down your 15-year, your 10-year, your 5-year,
Mhm.
and your 1-year. Because now you'll see, because you're starting far enough out, you will automatically start thinking about the building blocks that it took to get to your ultimate vision of life, the perfect day.
That is
And
so
Yeah,
then write down what you want in a man.
I like that.
that is so key because I do that with my students in finance too. Like, part of what I do is helping them find a job in finance, right? And a lot of people, they're if I ask them, "Well, okay, what do you want in a year?" They're very much stuck in the, "Well, I can't have that because of all these barriers in the
There
way
yet.
right
Yeah.
now," right? But if I take them 10, 20 years in the future and work back, then the question becomes, "Okay, well, what is the best position you need to be in a year in order to create your 20-year vision?" And then it becomes very clear, right?
Yeah.
Then we'll figure it out because it's so powerful.
No, I like that. That's funny that you said that because when we did our manifestations with Lauren this past weekend, 10 years from now, what does
That's great.
life look like?
Yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. And
What does
it
life
just
look
brings
like?
me more clear it brings me more clarity, right? And in my thing, like in my writing, I did put a man in there and that we're growing businesses side by side, but together. And he's doing his life, I'm doing mine, but we have our life together. And there's so much great stuff in there. I'm gonna have to share it when we're done.
So I'm going to make a suggestion, and you may have
Mhm.
already done this, right? This is more for your audience, and it might work for you too. Is experience it as your perfect day, a singular day. Not I'm building businesses, but walk through the day. I woke up this morning and he was laying next to me. He was cuddling me. He was holding me. And
Detail what you're saying.
exactly. And when I walked into our master bath, and it's such a beautiful bathroom, and I saw myself in the mirror, and I'm in incredible shape, and here's what I look like. Describe that, feel that.
Mhm,
You'll understand what you need to do to create it. When we leave it vague, we get vague results. When we get
mhm.
specific, we get a lot more accurate with what we need to do to get there.
Yeah.
I like that.
And
That's a
it's so in
great
line
rem
with what she was saying too, Jeanette, like what Lauren was saying about like experience the day because now you're in it and then you get to experience what are the rituals and the patterns, right?
Yes.
That
Yeah,
get and then now we can measure. Okay, so I work out 3 times a week. Okay, this person works out 5 times. Like then it's very clear what the difference in the lifestyle is.
yeah. No, I like that. That's a great reminder because I feel like that is something that I forget. And we're professionals, we're into self development. And if we can forget, then regular people probably aren't even doing it. Probably need to. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
No, that's a
that's all that's really going on, right? It's like I give a little metaphor, and it sounds like are you from Texas?
I
Uh,
am.
Okay, I heard y'all a few times. So since you're from Texas, you'll appreciate this. So I give the comparison of like going out to shoot guns, right? So if I take you to a gun range and say, "All right, shoot," right? So you just start shooting randomly. What are the odds you're going to hit a target? Pretty freaking low, right? If I say, "Hey, hit the target," you might hit the target. If I say, "Hit the bullseye," you might get closer to the bullseye. If I say, "All right, on the upper left corner of the bullseye, there's a little dot in that. Hit that dot." You'll likely hit the bullseye. You're gonna get a lot closer, right? So it's aim small, miss small, and it goes the same for life. Our vision of life is all about getting very precise about here's exactly what I want in life with extreme clarity. And the odds of us actually getting really close to that is phenomenal. I have found that it's crazy little things that we write down that just happen to come true just in time. Like, I made a decision that I'm gonna leave the engineering space and not be an engineer anymore, and I said, "I'm gonna do it by June 1st." My last day in engineering was May 29th.
Wow. You
That's
got
how
real.
yeah, it just be precise. And I said, "Here's what life's gonna look like. I'm gonna make more money doing that." And I wrote down the numbers of it's on my phone. It's a very specific number. That I had to it was much more than I was it was, 1.5 no, 2.5 times is what I was making already. I had
Mhm.
to do that by June 1st. Done.
Beautiful.
Write it down, be precise.
I love that. That is a great way to end our talk. Don't forget to be precise in everything that you do in life. Yes. Thank you, Annie and John. So happy that y'all joined me today.
Thank
Thank
you
you
for
for
hosting.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for listening and watching. I will catch you again next time on Untamed and Unapologetic. Yay.